Hello, people. I should be writing a paper. Guess who's not writing his paper? Did I forget to put the link in? I know the link is there. If anybody wants to join. Otherwise, hey Dolly, how you doing? You should jump on. We haven't. I don't know. Think we've actually ever had a discussion. Like I don't really know you that well. I've seen you on. It's possible maybe we were on. We've never actually talked just one on one. I don't think, or I don't remember, which makes me a bad person. I'm sorry if that's true. Tayo, we haven't yet. You are not a bad person. It's okay if you're feeling shy. How you doing, Kyle? How are things in the colonies? Tayo!
Yo,
Sorry, did I scream at you?
that's my bad.
Do you have the YouTube still going?
I did for a second.
Ah. Dolly went to bed, so it's just the two of us.
Yeah, she's 2 hours ahead of me, so it's like nearly 11.
Dolly's two. Where does Dolly live? I thought Dolly was Australian.
South Africa.
Oh. Yeah, I could never distinguish well between South African, Australian, and British accents.
Hmm, you American.
Did I tell you the story about watching? So I love British television, and I'm watching this murder mystery because I love British television murder mysteries, and I noticed one of the people, like, he was talking really weird. Like, it wasn't a British, any other accent. It just sounded really weird. And then I realized, oh, he's supposed to be American. And it was an attempt to have an American accent by someone on British television. and I was like, oh my god, this must be the experience British people have when they hear Americans trying to do a bad British accent.
Yeah. But I think British actors and actresses are more notoriously better at doing American accents than an American are doing British accents.
I guess so.
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, like a lot, well, mainly because like American, television and movies are so
I would
predominantly.
like to think that the actors, I mean, what was weird to me was that it was on television. And it's like, by the time you get on television, I would think you would be good enough at doing an accent that it shouldn't be that obviously bad.
How long ago was this? Because there was a time that there was a bigger drop off between movies and television actors.
Oh, this was pretty old. I generally try to avoid watching anything that was made within the last 20 years.
Oh, you've missed out on so many gems.
I watched Game of Thrones, but that's about it.
All right, so yeah, to be fair, Game of Thrones was seemingly unmissable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Wait, you've not been watching even British television in the last 20 years?
I mean, I don't know. Is Keeping Up Appearances the last 20 years? I like Keeping Up Appearances. That was hilarious.
If that's the latest, then yeah, you've missed out on way too much. I think you brought up Luther. Was that on this channel? Was that on Randos?
Luther?
Yeah.
I watched Misfits.
Oh yes, Misfits
was the British version was much better than the American version.
I'll never watch the American version, but Misfits.
I only watched a few episodes of the American version. I watched the whole thing. Yeah, that's why when on Game of Thrones, when the guy from Misfits,
yeah,
it was like, oh my god, I know this guy.
Yeah, Misfit came out while I was in secondary school, and it was like peak. That's when we were all still watching the same shows and talking about them. And
what's that? What there's a term you guys have for orders, like where I was really shocked to find out you guys had. I mean, legally, like this is in the United States, it would never be allowed. You have a term for basically when a judge decides you're not a good person and wants to make you go do things and be a productive member of society. That it was the premise of Misfits, that all of these people were forced by a judge to do community service just because the judge didn't like them. Let me find out what the name of this order was, because when I heard it, so where is it? Not the British one. Oh come on, there's a name for it. You guys have a name for, like, it's some sort of acronym. ASBO.
ASBO.
Yeah.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
never heard of this?
Social behavior order. Yes.
Yeah, like when I saw that you guys, like, this is the most incredible thing. Like in the United States, if we had anything like that, it would be like, are you joking? What? So here, let me show you what Google has. Wikipedia has to say about ASBOs. An antisocial behavior order is a civil order made in the. It's not criminal. It's a civil order made in the United Kingdom against a person who has been shown on the balance of evidence to have engaged in antisocial behavior. So, like, it's not even like a crime or anything. They just decide, hey, we don't like you. ASBOs were replaced in England and Wales by the civil injunctions and criminal behavior orders. They were designed to address behaviors like intimidation, drunkenness, and violence by individuals and families using civil orders rather than criminal sanctions. The orders restricted behavior in some way, such as prohibiting a return to a certain area or shop, or restricting public behavior, such as swearing or drinking alcohol. Many saw the ASBO as connected with young delinquents. I mean,
Wait, I
like,
just realized I've been served that. Yeah, I was served. I was banned from Birmingham City Centre for like a few weeks, and I couldn't return back to store.
and it was, I mean, like, legally in the United States, like this would be such a huge scandal. I can't understand.
It
Like,
depends. How. I mean, Misfit obviously like was a more dramatic version of how it's enforced. It's more of like a slap on the wrist, and well, the way it's enforced now, I'm sure when it first came in, probably a little bit more. The intention was probably to be more effective. And I was also going to say, you guys don't have. It's not legal to drink under 21. We start drinking from way, way, way younger legally.
what's the legal drinking age?
Legally, I think it's 16, but culturally, probably like 13, 14.
Well, I actually think legal drinking age is 18. It says.
Well, sure.
But no, I actually think like introducing kids to slowly learning how to deal with alcohol is it. Yeah, I think that under 21 you're not allowed to drink, and over 21 you're suddenly allowed to drink is whatever you want is kind of a silly way of doing it.
Yeah, but you guys have a silly country over there, so
We do certainly have a silly
got a
country.
question in the chat.
Yes, we do. Question: atheism. Is this something that has been commonplace through history, or do you think that it has increased greatly over recent decades? Okay, you have to define the word atheism. By atheism, do you mean new atheism, which is Sam Harris, Dawkins, this idea that we have to live by pure materialism and ancient rituals, traditions, beliefs, historical accounts, that like this Enlightenment version of atheism, especially anti-theism, is very new. Enlightenment focus on materialism, really what should be called nominalism, is also new. Although nominalism has been very successful over the past 500 years.
What is nominalism?
So it comes from, so nomen means name, right? And it comes from a response to Platonic ideas. So basically complete the entirety of Western thought can be called Platonic or Neoplatonic in the concept of there are ideals, also sometimes referred to as universals, and then there are instantiations of those ideals. So, famous example, this is a cup. I usually have more than one cup around here, but you can imagine there's another cup, right? That doesn't look like this. It's also a cup. right? So there's here. Do I have two examples here? So this is scissors, and this is also scissors, right? Two different scissors. They're both scissors, right? So the question becomes, is there something that exists that is a scissor?
Is there an essence that makes it the scissors?
Right. Is there a universal scissor that these are instantiations of? Okay. So nominalism was the idea that no, there's no actual scissor, right? We just call this a scissor. A name is just a name, right? And there's nothing that inherently makes these two scissors in some manner related in some way, right? Well, that is nominalism, and it's major foundation, philosophical foundation of what became the Enlightenment, right? Is no, things are like only that which the material exists, that which we can touch, that which we can feel. Like this idea scissor, this concept scissor, right? It's just a word, and words have no true effect in the world. That's nominalism. Hey, Chad. Chris has barely been doing anything for a while.
Raising a family.
Yeah, why would people have real life stuff to do? Like, this is actually why I haven't been doing just chatting streams. Like, I've been trying to do things in the real world.
Now I've got Kanye's Off the Grid playing in my head. We off the grid.
Wrong. Chris is living. Can't let the government find him. Okay. So nominalism is new, and nominalism led to deism, led to a certain form of materialism, which kind of identifies itself as atheism, which eventually went into its most extreme form as new atheism. And all of this is new.
Is that the furthest seed of atheism, new atheism, as you called it? You would say nominalism is the seed that.
I think new atheism is the latest and furthest seed of nominalism, and part of what John Vervaeke has been saying is, and that's why I came up with, that's why I had my podcast called Post-Platonic, because John Vervaeke has been talking about a post-nominalist Neoplatonism. So Western thought before the Enlightenment can be characterized as Neoplatonic. Then we had nominalism, and today a lot of the people who reject modernity, they're really rejecting nominalism. So the postmodern post-nominalists, right? There's plenty of people who are like, no, nominalism was a mistake. And it's like, nominalism was a mistake, but you can't go back to a time before nominalism. You have to have a post-nominalist Neoplatonism.
How many posts are we going to get before we start realizing that it's all just one big circle and things repeat itself? There is nothing else.
So that is a very non Western way of looking at things of, oh, things just repeat. It's not just things repeat. The Jewish, the Abrahamic idea is there was a beginning of the world, there's a progression, and there is a final iteration that will happen, the eschaton.
Yeah, but in terms of all this worldviews, the post-liberal, pre-liberal, neoliberal, postmodern, post what is it, meta-modern, all this worldviews, I'm sure there's those all repeat. Those are all just there is no new worldview under the sun. We're all just repeating them, surely.
Okay, I wouldn't say there's no new world view under the sun. I would say, so nobody went around calling themselves a Neoplatonist. It really does, strangely enough, go down to the question of nominalism and universals, right? Like, yeah, we can call things different things. I can call people postmodernist, or I can call them neo-Marxists, or I can call them, like, there's all kinds of things you could call people, or anything, right? The question is there a validity to these concepts? And the fact is that in order to engage with the world, my hand has to be so. Did you see Elon Musk's new? Robot?
What is got a new robot? The Cybertruck was the latest thing I saw from him.
No, there was let me see if I can find. There was a new video that was recently. Here, I think this is it. Share this.
Oh, yeah.
You're not presenting yet.
Well, I want to find the video. Tesla. Let me see if I can find it on X. Where is that video? Anyway, so the reason I wanted to... There it is. Okay. Okay, so this is... transfers it to a different hand and puts it down, right? Without breaking it. Like, this may be like what, as far as robotics people, like, I'm hoping Yosef would agree, but like, I believe he does, that like getting something to like optimal grip, to actually grip something without destroying it, right? That's like the holy grail of robotics. Why? Because you have to recognize, what am I grabbing? I'm grabbing that egg. And what is an egg? And how hard can I press an egg? How, like, before it breaks? Or how lightly can I touch it before it falls out of my hand, right? So like transferring an egg from one hand to the other and putting it back down, right? This is incredibly hard stuff to actually accomplish, because you have to decide, this is a cup. I'm picking up a cup, right? So the idea that there's no actual, it doesn't matter what I call something, right? That it's just patently false. We would not be able to function without concepts, ideals, universals, right? Um, what is he saying, bro? You
Guys,
should react to the song "Bloodsport" by Sleep Token from The Room Below. It won't get blocked. I have no idea what you're talking about. Bloodsport. Chad,
yo,
What's up, homies?
how you doing?
I'm good. I'm having a quick smoke break before I head back in and be the husband that I should.
Bloodsport. I'm seeing
From the room below. Yeah, you'll see
The Room Below.
it's more of a digital video.
Sleep Token.
Yes.
Okay. Share this tab instead.
Yep, the second one there. Yep.
Want to upgrade but still paying off your locked phone?
Reminds me of Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, it's got some of that feel to it.
Yeah, like that you ought to know vibe, you know?
Yeah, that's a little more resentful, but yes, I feel you. What do you think, Kyle?
I got distracted by, similarly to Nathaniel, the Doom mask, and I was thinking of MF Doom or Doctor Doom. But the
Oh,
song I thought was decent, good vibes.
Good vibes? I don't know. Good vibes? Really?
I like lo-fi music, so put a piano, like, get a piano riff going, and I'm down for it.
Hey, Fezzy.
it's this weird obsession that I have with this band. I'm obsessed, man. They just played Wembley last night. It was the biggest show yet.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Well, if they copyright strike me, I'm coming after you, Chad.
Well, you won't get a strike, you'll get a claim.
Mm.
So you won't make money off this episode.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Jacob. Vegas wants to get rich.
Hey, I've made like $5 in the past month on YouTube. I could probably buy a beer every 2 months or so.
Super.
Do not despise the days of small beginnings.
Thanks for doing that, because like I don't know. I talk about it a lot in the corner because I like to talk about music and people don't really talk much about it, so it's nice to do once in a while. But I think they're scared of the dude wears this mask and he's kind of he looks freaky, but there's reasons for it.
Jacob, what's your current musical obsession?
So, okay, I always discounted music, and over the past 3 or 4 years, I have become convinced that I was absolutely wrong. I have been deliberately trying to listen to more music. I mostly listen on Spotify to things I already like, but I've been listening to more classical music deliberately. And I've actually been listening to a lot of Persian music. But I deliberately added a bunch of classical music into my,
Why?
like, to inject it. So, reading The Master and His Emissary had a real effect on my thinking about music, because his theory is that human speech started as something similar to bird calls, right? That the evolutionary background of human speech is the capacity to have complex bird calls the way birds do, and to, even without communicating specific ideas, right? Just that ability to harmonize human beings together was the reason we developed speech and stuff. And I have to say, part of the reason I think we don't speak enough about music is, in fact, because we're afraid of copyright stuff. Like, if I wasn't afraid of copyright, that was one of the major reasons I wanted to do the post-Platonic thing on post-Platonic, that format that I created for the podcast on Spotify. Was you can use any music you want and no copyright strikes, nothing. And if YouTube allowed you to just just seamlessly integrate. I would be willing to pay just to be able to, like, some sort of license fee, just to be able to use a library of music.
Yeah.
And it kind of bothers me that YouTube doesn't have that capacity to simply integrate music into things the way Spotify allows you to do with
So Spotify has a relationship with the record labels. YouTube is in competition with them. So
YouTube
Well-
can just pay the royalties.
You know that there's that video that I made with some Better Call Saul footage.
Mhm.
That was a copyright strike, and I tried to experiment with if I can contest it, and I actually won. They let me have it.
Huh?
So you could do it. You can put in the request and give them a good reason why and all that stuff, but it's hit or miss. You know?
Yeah, so what I did when I first started doing my live streams was I had my 5-minute countdown, and I deliberately went and found a piece of classical music that's too old to be copywritten,
Mhm.
and I made my countdown, and it got a copyright claim.
Yeah.
And I fought it, and I won because it's an old piece of music that's over 100 years old. Like, there's no copyright claim. F you.
Yeah,
But they would do it every single time, and I had to go through the process every single time. And I was like, this is not worth it.
they might be able to do it because it's an actual whoever's performing it might be getting, you know.
That was their claim, but I wasn't using their performance.
Right.
I had downloaded it off of Wikimedia specifically because it was actually off the radio from over 100 years ago.
Yeah, this is one of my exercises that are fun for me. That's why I like doing the branding for Grim Grizz's show, because it's a fun. It kind of reminds me of like the origins of hip hop. In the origins of hip hop, they take, you know, samples from different music and things like this to help generate the music that they have. So that's kind of the concept I was using for my my branding. I would search around for different pieces of music that I would highly suspect that didn't have any copyright. Also images or video, and that was the fun of the whole. That's my favorite part about it, because the challenge is, can I get away with doing this so there is no copyright and make it look somewhat entertaining and be thought provoking at the same time? And
you have a capacity to tessellate things, to bring things, different parts of things together. The first time I spoke to you, I was shocked to find out that you were doing all of this in your brain, because I went to USC, and several of my friends were production majors at one of the top, like, I wasn't in the film school, but they were in the film school. Like, it's one of the top film schools in the world, if you know, certainly the country. And what you just naturally do in your brain is incredibly hard. And no wonder you find it challenging, but it's a gift you have that I was like floored to find out you're just doing this in your mind. And
I wonder if that because you're also a writer and a musician. I think those two things probably play a role in the way you create. I think sampling is the best example of the art form that it is. It's bringing things together and finding a way to make them work, and finding a rhythm between chopped out part, which is just
a lot of it is just paying attention to the intuitions, and just like trying, because I've done art where you overthink it, and like you you try to steer the art in a particular way, and then that it kind of falls apart. So the challenge is noticing the impulsive flashes that come to mind when something flashes to mind. Oh, and that's what I want to grab. Clearly, that's what should be going, because that's what was happening with all of my early stuff, even before I was doing the branding stuff. It was just, oh, that reminds me of this, and this reminds me of that, and then just smacking them together, and then that's how I was doing that stuff. And that's why I was encouraging people to do the branding stuff for Grizz, because it's a fun exercise if you can do it. It's a puzzle that has no rules, and you kind of get to find out what the rules are for your process. And that's why I think what Grizz is doing is so brilliant with the branding. Part of it is it's helping him so he doesn't have to carry the whole show himself. But the other part is he's encouraging people to participate in something that is creative, which is what I think. I think that imagination is the foundation of humanity, and then being creative is one of the foundational gifts that we have that we don't exercise enough. And then that, coupled with the idea of show and tell, all of that together is kind of fun.
I hear you. I still think you and Grizz have a talent that is it's rare and it's unique, and I think the vast majority of us, while it's plenty of fun for us to try to do that, it's kind of like me trying to play basketball with an NBA player. Like I'm just not 7 foot tall, you know, and like each person has certain things that they particularly like. You know, being 7 feet tall and being able to dunk a basketball is a very particular skill.
Well, Grizz's skill is pretty. His is one that, yeah, it's hard to, even if you practice it, it's hard to get. So, like, I was on Burn Power's channel the other day, and he was doing this fundraiser, and
for his library, by the way, I recommend people go and so he's moving his library from Alaska to Georgia, and he's starting a library there of basically culture and music, but mostly Western, but I mean mostly American and stuff. But like, yeah, it's cool stuff.
So during that show, like, if there was downtime, I didn't know what the hell to say to the guy. Like, but so then Grizz hops in, and his ability to be a host of a show is better than almost anybody. Because he could just, he I don't know, he has a wit about him that is sharp and quick, even though he's got his own little brand of charisma, but he's really good at it. And he like saved the day for me, because I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing on this show. Like, you know, I barely watch anything that Burn Power has ever made. But Grizz can just roll with anybody. He, like, if you step in right here in this show, he can just do it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt he has that skill. He's also a very good interviewer if he wants to be. Yeah. But that's it. I mean, I haven't seen him do that very often, and I don't know that he has a lot of interest in doing that.
Right. Well, I think he did it with, like, his ability to interview Jonathan Vervaeke was fabulous. Like, he hung with him. It was good. Well, I should probably go be a husband. So,
go be a husband.
Thanks for playing music. Bye.
Bye.
Heyo, hey you guys.
Trey, What are you doing here? Where are you?
I'm in my attic. I'm looking for Christmas stuff. I just bonked my head.
Good job.
Oh, my head hurts now. Yeah. I was supposed to be doing Christmas stuff at 10 o'clock, but women, what can I tell you? Never on time and never ready. I'm kidding. Dang, not even a chuckle? Wow.
I didn't realize you were kidding. I just thought you were based.
Funny. See? Did whatever his name leave?
Chad did.
Okay.
Tayo is off camera, probably rolling a big fat blunt.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yep. Does sound good. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna get Christmas lights. That's a bit too much. I don't have enough time anyways. Yeah, because I'm just gonna I just need to get a projector. Got to do all these work down. Anywho, how's it been with you?
I think he's away. He's muted and his.
I'm
camera's
saying you,
on.
Jacob.
Oh, I thought you said Teo.
No, you.
How are things with me? There's other stuff I should be doing, but I'm sitting here chatting.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bum.
Should we talk more about Marcionism?
I don't know if anybody but you cares. And if it's just you who cares, we can have that discussion in real life, like human beings who actually talk to each other in real life.
Okay. Checking out the wiki, I'm like, dang, he's so right. Like he just keeps hitting. 10 out of 10 takes. I'm telling you.
Marcion?
Yeah. So Marcion was technically Gnostic, but the only reason he wasn't technically Gnostic is because he didn't believe it to be secret knowledge, pretty much. So when he says the Old Testament and everything like that, he's putting a different theology, pretty much similar to what seems like the Mormons have, as well as what Islam has, in a lot of ways.
Marcion of Sinope.
Yes.
Was circa 85 to circa 160. Was a theologian in early Christianity. Marcion preached that God had sent Jesus Christ, who was an entirely new alien God distinct from the vengeful God, the Demiurge, who had created the world. He considered himself a follower of Paul the Apostle, whom he believed to have been the only true apostle of Jesus Christ. His doctrine was called Marcionism. Marcion published the earliest record of a canon of the New Testament books. Early church fathers such as Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, and Tertullian denounced Marcion as a heretic or antichrist, and he was excommunicated by the Church of Rome around 144. He published his own canon of Christian sacred scriptures, which contained 10 Pauline epistles. The pastoral epistles were not included, and the Gospel of Marcion, which historically is claimed to be an edited version of the Gospel of Luke. Some modern scholars have theorized that Marcion's Gospel was the oldest, although this has received criticism. Oh, I'm going to have to read Marcion's Gospel now. This made Marcionism a catalyst in the process of the development of the New Testament canon by forcing the Proto-Orthodox Church to respond to his canon. Interesting. Marcionites Church. The Marcionites Church expanded greatly within Marcion's lifetime, becoming a major rival to the other emerging church. After his death, it retained its following and survived Christian controversy and imperial disapproval for several centuries. Several theologians have viewed him as a proto-Protestant. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Luther, Marcion.
Yeah. But the more I read about him, he's not just like some little guy that like no one cares about. Like, so if you look before that,
Oh no, he was denounced by everybody.
yeah, but he also made it so that they had to have a creed. Like they didn't have creeds in the liturgy, and because of Marcion, they basically made it so that they had a creed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, denouncing Marcion was apparently some sort of sport among early Christians.
Yes, but I just want to also mention, like, this was seemed like to be a real competition with Orthodox Christianity.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so then saying that like this is something that is like no one should take seriously, blah 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 blah, doesn't really seem true.
There are plenty of things which have been. I mean, I don't think anybody should take Christianity seriously.
I mean, I think they should take Marcionism more.
Okay, so if you want to start a new Marcionite church, you go right ahead. Like
Let's
nobody's stopping you.
Also, if you look, Bart Ehrman has a comment in the Wikipedia article saying that the Ebionites, which Andrew has a fandom over, and then the Marcionites were on two separate sides of the coin. And it seems that if you were more influenced by Paul's epistles, then you would become more Marcionite in your thinking, more Gnostic. And then if you were influenced more by the Gospels themselves, you would become more Ebionite.
Yeah. The biggest problem Marcionites have is the fact that everything they claim to be part of their Bible. I haven't read the Gospel of Marcion, but certainly the letters of Paul all assume that the Hebrew Bible is scripture and beautiful and right and godly. And
but you're mistaking what Marcion is trying to say. Like, okay, so in Islam,
yes, defend Marcion for me.
Yes, I will. So in Islam, right, the idea is that God tricked everyone into thinking that Jesus died on the cross. That's why there's all these reports and everything there. Now, if you take that theological statement, then everything makes sense. That there's some trickster, right? So then what Marcion is basically positing is the Gnostic view that basically the God of the Old Testament is the evil God, right?
Yeah, but that's not Paul's view.
No, but here's my point. Here's my point. The God of the Old Testament is the evil God, but the real God manifested himself through Jesus Christ and everything like that, and revealed him to his apostles. Now, what I could say, if you were a Marcionite, you could still take that as semi-authoritative, but you could say, well, you see, God is revealing himself to Paul, but Paul is confused in between these two ideas. So we must search for this.
Okay, Trey. Okay, yes or no? You have to reject Paul in order to accept Marcionism.
No, I don't understand what you mean. No, you just say you look for the parts that basically are more
right. You have to take Paul. You have to take Paul apart and be like, oh, Paul didn't even understand what he was saying either.
Well, no, you just have to have a nuanced view, just as you have a nuanced view with with the Old Testament.
What?
For example, like when we had the discussion on the murdering of the Canaanites and whatever, and you said, well, it's in between. They are. The context is different. There is a bit of hyperbole and everything like that. You're bringing intense nuance into these situations.
Trey, stop. Did Paul of Tarsus
Alright.
believe that the God of the Old Testament was some evil God and that the Old Testament should be rejected?
Is the book of Joel inspired? That is the book, right?
Joel? It
Oh,
might be one of the minor prophets.
Right. Are the minor prophets inspired?
Inspired?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So isn't there different levels of inspiration, right? Or
Within the same person? We're talking about Paul of Tarsus.
no, but I'm trying to lay a case.
I
So why-
understand that. You're trying to avoid actually talking about whether or not you believe Paul of Tarsus throughout everything he believed that there was a God of the Old Testament that should be believed in and should be followed.
Okay, I'll just cut to the point. I would say that he is between two different revelations of God. So if you are a Marcionite, you just look at the parts that agree with you. Because again, he is being partly fooled by the Old Testament God, but as well as revealed by the New Testament.
Okay, so even Paul isn't an actual apostle of Jesus. You end up with 0 apostles of Jesus.
No, I'm taking human inspiration. Like that, I'll be more specific. I'm viewing Paul, if I was a Marcionite, I'm
Yeah.
viewing Paul as somebody that has basically seen two different gods, and he is having an internal struggle.
Okay,
again,
so you understand. So you better understand Paul than Paul understood himself.
I better understand Paul than. Okay, question. Do you think Paul was in agreement with the Gospels?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I think Paul was a complete charlatan who was completely so. What
Wait. Do you think Paul believes himself to be in agreement with the Gospels?
The Gospels didn't exist, but when
Oral
Paul
tradition
lived.
that was around at the same time, as well as what was.
Paul believed himself to be the true teacher of Jesus's teachings.
But he also said that when I talked to the other apostles, they said that I was given nothing extra and everything like that. So he himself, even if you say that he is contradictory, he believed in his own brain that what he was saying was in agreement with the other apostles.
I don't believe that he authentically believed I think he was just
Galatians.
a liar. I think he
Pull up-
was a
pull up.
con man.
Pull up Galatians.
What about Galatians? Yes, he says that. I think he was a liar. I believe he said things he did not believe.
So you know Paul better than he knows himself?
No, I can see a liar when I see a liar. Because I have all of his letters and I see he says different things in different places.
You don't have
And
all
it's obvious that he's a liar.
Okay.
There's a
Well-
difference. There's a difference between saying Paul is a liar and saying Paul is the only true apostle of Jesus Christ. Yet I still understand things. Yet he was basically wrong in his most fundamental teachings.
What is it? It's better to ascribe ignorance rather than.
Yeah, that's a really stupid idea.
Okay, so I can't get any points at that. So okay, okay. So then, because my position is that, or as a Marcionite, my would-be position.
Just own it, Trey. Just own it. You're starting your own Marcionite church. This is
So as
going to
a
be
Marcionite-
hilarious. I can't wait until you're preaching like at Saint Marcion's Church of of Palos Verdes, and one of your sacraments is going surfing on Sunday mornings.
Actually, be based. So because like to me, right? I think it makes perfect sense.
Okay, I have a real question.
Yes.
At Saint Marcionites, would you have like, would you perform open marriages?
Open marriages to anybody?
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
weren't all the Gnostics incels?
I don't know. Like, it depends on your version of Gnosticism. There were Gnostics who were having orgies all the time. Sounds like your type of church.
Well, just as with the early church, we need to get some stuff figured out. So we'll see.
so your position on open marriage ceremonies in your church is not well defined. I understand.
Oh yes.
You're waiting until Destiny comes out with his.
No, I'm just waiting for a commentary 1,000 years later, since it was composed, that give a bunch of different traditions and different conflicting views. That's what I'm waiting on.
I see.
So as soon as we have our Talmud, then we'll be good. I just need to
Okay.
give it another 1,000 years.
Sandy says, "Yikes! Signed on just as Trey had eye-rolling head rock."
I don't know what that is.
You shall act in accordance with the instructions given you and ruling handed down to you. You must not deviate from the verdict that they announced to you, either to the right or the left. This is where Acher got confused in the Padres. I think he means Talmud. There is only one. I form light. Okay, Chazi, I don't have any clue what you're trying to say.
He's in that Kabbalistic Zaza right now.
Oh, he's still high from Shabbos. That's possible.
Oh man, that would be a sick strain. Kabbalistic Zaza. Tell me, back me up on that. That's kind of A1.
Teo, where'd you find this guy?
On this weirdo stream called Jacob,
Oh,
where it just allows anyone to jump on and have their say.
I
Literally,
do. You've actually met Trey in real life.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
yep. In the flesh.
I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do for New Year's Eve.
What are the options?
Well, for about 28 years or so, my friends, we used to have a New Year's Eve party every single year. And it was but over the past few years, it's just been getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
And
And to the point where, like, I think last year there wasn't even one, or the last couple of years. And so my option is to find someplace to go, or to basically invite people to come over if they want, just to hang out. I don't know. Yeah. For many years, anytime anybody mentioned New Year's, I would be like, "Oh, I have a friends thing I've been doing for 20 years." Like, so, like, nobody invites me anywhere for New Year's.
what's caused the number of people moved, or just
People
like,
moved. People have kids now. The idea of staying up until midnight. We don't like. It used to be, okay, we would have a party and anybody would bring any friends, but now, like, if somebody shows up, they're certainly not bringing a bunch of friends. Like, we used to have, like, big parties many years ago.
so just grown up, I guess.
Everybody except me, apparently.
Yeah, instead you've got a collection of internet weirdos like myself and Trey. Or Trey's the
do.
one that so I'm the internet
I
weirdo.
do. Yeah. So what do you think of Marcion, Teo?
I'm sorry, I missed most of that.
You're lucky. Like, the idea that Trey is trying to resurrect Marcion is just hilarious to me.
Like I said, there is nothing new under the sun.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Amen. Solomon really spitting.
Fezzy is calling me Peter Pan with his Lost Boys.
Accurate.
Teo can be Wendy.
Inaccurate.
Who are you, Captain Hook?
Just one of the Lost Boys.
Oh, you, one of the Lost Boys? You should get married, Teo.
It's funny because the reason I missed the Marseille conversation was because I was on a call with Glorious, who you'd met, and well,
sounds
you've not
good.
met her, but you spoke to her.
Oh, that girl? Yeah, I don't think she's marriage material.
Is that the
Yeah.
feminine girl?
Which girl?
The
Oh,
girl you
Zarina. No. Zarina. I was actually on a live stream with her yesterday talking about evil.
I have zero clue what Khazi is trying to say. Either Khazi is still high, or he's trying to type while he's driving, or
This sounds like high.
yeah. Khazi, how many I don't even know what it's called, like grams or micrograms or whatever of
Grams.
I don't
Well,
know.
for edibles, right? It's milligrams, and then for actual weed, it's grams, right?
I don't know
I-
if the Renegade
Oh,
Shadow
right.
is. Who is that? Oh, and what's the connection to the Renegade Master?
He says Peter Pan is chasing a shadow. Is Peter Pan chasing a shadow? I have zero idea what Khazi's saying.
Bro, he is so high right now. Smoking on that capitalistic pack. He's smoking.
I keep on flashing back to that T-shirt you posted on the Discord that says that T-shirt that had Jesus is risen, RIZZEN.
Yeah, I want that so bad.
Where is that shirt? It was
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh, I can't stand Gen Zs.
Jesus is risen. There it is.
Kicked out
Jesus
of
has
church.
risen. There. Here, let me show you this shirt.
So sick.
This shirt is hilarious.
For real, no cap.
Jesus has risen. God.
Oh, have you watched Dracula Flow, Jacob?
No, I have zero idea what that
You don't
is.
get the references I'm making. Okay.
I never get any of the references you're making. You're like, I should be telling you to get off my lawn. I don't know why I don't tell you to get off my lawn.
You just look up Dracula Flow 1. It's hilarious. It's literally you.
Dracula Flow 1.
Or whichever one of them. They're all great.
Dracula Flow.
Plan at Michael's. She got
We straight get.
What am I listening to? I have zero idea why this is so funny.
Please keep listening to it. Did you click on the video? It just seems like a still image.
Yeah, it's just a still image.
No, that's the wrong video. No. Dracula Flow 1, and it's a guy. You have to watch the actual video. You're gonna critique it.
Flow 1.
Oh yeah,
But-
he did get Wendy to show. Yes.
Okay, but is this guy going to copyright strike me?
We straight gas.
No, never.
Never. Are you
No.
sure?
Yeah.
You've been promised twice now that there'll be no copyright strikes, so that's two copyright strikes.
Watch my channel. Like I get 3. Okay, these videos are exclusively advertisements for Plumcore clothing, Randall Times. I have zero clue why people.
I'm literally him.
You're literally him.
That's what he says. I'm literally him.
Who's him?
OBJ's him.
Him. Like I'm him.
Jacob, yes.
I have zero clue what's happening either. Like Hezi and I are like on the same boat right now. We're like, what is going on?
Oh,
what
man,
what am I watching, and why do people like?
That could not have gone any more perfect. I'm him. Who's him? I'm him. You really played your part with that one, Jacob.
Okay. I mean, I'm not playing a part. This is me. I'm him, apparently.
No, you're not him.
Oh,
I'm
who's him? I have no idea who him is. When Trey like starts giggling like a little girl, it's so hilarious. Like I can't stop laughing when he starts giggling like a little girl.
That's my night. Who's him? I'm him. No, you.
I have no idea what's going on here. Fuzzy,
Yeah.
Fuzzy's right. What is happening?
What is happening is you're literally playing out a meme in real time. It's hilarious.
A meme of being old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, guess what? I am pretty old. I was never that hip when I was younger. I called. So I forget who I was talking to. Oh, it was my nephews, and I said I'm not that hip, and they didn't know what hip means. So when I was young, we used to make fun of people who tried to be hip because they were hep. Because in the 60s, you had the hep cats, right? So, hold on, let me find this. And yeah, so like I was making a reference, which during my life was actually kind of like well known and hilarious, but then they didn't get it. Like you guys don't get it.
Yep.
Here, I think this'll do the trifecta.
Oh,
I love the coils and the coils love me, just like the Sheik of Araby. My fatal charms make them fall in my arms. I am sure I caught just her command. I know I got a rep for being kind of hip about the latest step when we're dancing. But I really shine, get to going fine when I get my line in romancing. Ah, my darling, a cup of coffee, sandwich, and you. Ah, you are the flower of my heart, sweet Adeline. I don't know what they see in me, but what's my word against 103? The leans and the fats all think I'm the cats. I must have an awful lot of yeah.
Being hip back in the 50s and 60s was what being hip was in my era. I wasn't born in the 80s, Chazi. I was born in the 70s. You were born in the
Yeah,
80s.
old man.
I am an old man. I am 46 years old, Dale.
Whoa.
You didn't know that?
I know that.
I was born in 77. And now that I've given you my birth date, you can steal everything I ever owned, which is not much.
Challenge accepted.
Shadow, stop destroying everything.
So what are you going to do for New Year's Eve?
I don't know. I mean,
We can always go to find an African church and go to the crossover service.
yeah, that's definitely on my list. That is definitely on my list. I may just go to bed. So, was it last year? I think it was last year. A friend of mine from college was going to a concert. Great, Sandy. Thanks. And I bought a ticket, but then I got really sick and I couldn't go.
Uh-oh.
I might see if she's doing something this year.
Sounds fun. I'm trying to see in your recommended videos on YouTube to get a sense of your algorithm, and I see Ruslan in there.
Ruslan? What's Ruslan?
Ruslan, a Christian YouTuber.
Christian. Oh, no. He's a Muslim. Who are you talking about? Jordan M is a Muslim.
No, Ruslan next to that.
This one?
Is that Mike Winger on there? as
Oh, I
well?
know.
Yeah.
It's so
Ruslan
Blessed
KD.
God Studios.
Yeah, I knew him when he was a rapper before he was a YouTuber.
So this guy?
Yeah, that guy.
He has 217,000 subscribers.
That's his second channel. His first
Oh.
channel is Ruslan KD.
Oh, there we go. Rustling to the Moon. Rustling. KD. 467,000.
And he's always got the same. Paul Vanderklee took a picture with him, and they made his famous YouTube face that's on all his all his videos just empty stare. You're muted.
I muted myself to type, and then I forgot to unmute myself. Torah ma tehe aleha. What's your answer?
Jesus is Lord.
That would be a Christian answer to that question. The question is, the Torah, what will be for her? That's Chazi trying to tell us we should be spending our time on Torah. This is a just chatting stream, Chazi. We're just chatting. We're going to be talking about Marcion in a minute.
Is that one of the early Christian heretics, church
Yeah.
fathers, something?
Heretics. He believed that that Jesus was sent by the real God to free us from the Jewish God who's really Satan.
We still talking about Marcion?
We
That's what
just
you're
started.
talking.
He was wondering who Marcion was. Yeah. I should probably end the stream and go do productive things with my life.
Oh, more
Yes.
Marcion. More Marcion.
Yes,
Marcion.
let's.
Teo, what time is it there?
10.
Dang.
OT.
Why don't you
Yeah.
stream? You should do just chatting streams and stuff. You didn't
I
move
should.
over to the just chatting like on Randos United, did you?
I didn't do what?
So I kind of sort of forced the Randos United people to go get their own StreamYards, but I didn't. I booted most of them off. So Gavin, Mark, Emmanuel, Manuel, not Emmanuel.
Manuel.
They started they're
Streamer.
doing their streams on the Randos United channel because I wanted to kind of focus on. Well, I wanted to be able to use my StreamYard account for my stuff, and I think I contributed about as much as I can to the Randos United, just chatting stuff.
A lot. Yeah.
And so I kicked a bunch of people. I shooed them off my StreamYard. And yeah, I didn't. I'm not using all the seats. That freed up a bunch of seats on my StreamYard, which I haven't completely given all of them away yet. But
I
yeah,
think I as the British representative.
so I didn't take your seat away yet. We'll see what happens.
Yet.
Well, you don't really do stuff that's relevant, particularly to my channel.
No, not yet. The stuff I'm working on is very relevant to your channel.
What stuff are you working on?
Well, trying to figure out which direction to take this Pickers Corner documentary, where I've got a bunch of footage of angry Muslim, angry Christians, and not much resolution being accomplished.
Apparently, Josh the Jew is actually a Jew.
Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
I didn't, but he came on my Discord and we talked a little bit. And he actually goes to a Jewish synagogue. I mean, he's just a kid, but like, and frankly, I think part of the reason, like, after he spent some time on my Discord, he kind of ran off was because he realized, oh shoot, like this is something that could actually get back to good night, Fezzi. That could actually get back to the Jewish community. Like, from what I understand, he's kind of been like, oh, here, I'll go online and I'll do Speaker's Corner, and nobody who's actually in my family's, in my actual synagogue, in my actual community will ever know that any of this happened. And it's like, oh, this Jacob guy, he goes between this internet and this actual Orthodox Jewish community. Josh the Jew? Yeah, I'm not sure he wanted to talk to her so much.
Probably Ezzy. And since we're not
Ezzy?
says good night.
It's pretty late in Israel right now. What time is it in Israel? I think it's midnight. Why is... What time? Oh, because I forgot the word time. Yeah, it's midnight,
Oh,
which makes sense why he would go to bed.
understandable.
Yep. You want to keep this just chatting stream going just by yourself?
I do not. I'm gonna go to bed as well.
You're going to go to bed.
No, I'm not.
The two of us.
Oh, actually, I finally started reading Mathieu Peugeot's.
Oh, I have it right there.
Trey might keep it going.
Trey? Oh, I actually haven't given Trey admin rights. I have an admin seat I could give you, Trey. I'm just scared he'll spend way too much time on it.
I probably. What do you mean? Just me streaming on my own?
You could stream by yourself if I gave you an admin seat. You could talk about Marcion all the time.
I mean, I may. I think the only thing I'd do it is when I'd be like working on other projects or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like working on my surfboard.
Aha. I'll think about it. I don't want to contribute to you being terminally online.
All right, I'm gonna say good night. Catch you guys later. In a bit, Trey.
Hold up, Teo. I'm gonna end the stream. Hold up.